Hello all sentient beings and welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we talk about all news, comics, and media related to the... On this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode, we review Transformers 13, the copy with Winston Chan's cover on it, because he listens to the show. It turns out that Captain America has the touch, and we have some news on Transformers trades coming out. Today is Friday, October 18th, 2019, and this is episode 151 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that watched Fortnite go dark and is launching its own free-to-play game, Fortlight, Our Darkest Hour. I'm your host, Charles, a.k.a. Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Yusuf, better known as Yoshi.
I cannot do any of the Fortnite dances.
Yo.
Jeremy,
a.k.a. Yakko.
Hi, I'm here. What's a fortnight? Other than 14 days.
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
I'm genuinely impressed that Jeremy knows that. Hey, let's talk Transformers.
We'll start off with a little bit of sad news. Jeremy, our grief counselor, let us know what's happened here.
First thing we have here is a G1 voice actor, Marshall Efron, who is the voice of Hunger, has passed away. He's, had a pretty big career other than that one character, but, we know him from Hunger. He was 81 years old. And we'll have a link here to a TFW article that actually has a link to a New York Times article about him. And then, and I saw on Facebook earlier today, TFCon announced that Bud Davis, the voice actor for Dirge, Metroplex, and Predaking in Generation 1, passed away as well. I think he was scheduled to be at TFCon Chicago in the last year or two and got hurt and couldn't make it. But that's probably why they were in contact with him and his family. So, our condolences to both families of both Bud Davis and Marshall Efron.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, so sad news to start off the show, but we'll continue on. Yeah, so as always, we start the show by thanking all the people who support us. So our Donatreons, we love you guys. Thank you for continuing to support the show. And, if you'd like to become a part of that, you can just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. You can also check out our merchandise at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. And that's where you can go access our TeePublic store. And if you want to check out a friend of the show, K-Girl, and her TeePublic store, just go to teepublic.com/user/superstark. Hope you're all getting ready for TFCon DC, as K-Girl is going to be there. So definitely find her and check out stuff I think she's bringing some, she's got some commissions. She's bringing some tote bags to sell. So check out her commission list online too. Also, want to remind you about our Transmissions 6th anniversary contest. That's coming up. It's going to go until the end of October. So we've got a few more weeks where you can enter. Just go to transmissionspodcast.com/6years, the number 6 and years. And
we have 17 responses. So
all
far.
Right. So there's still lots of a very significant chance that you can win if you enter now. Grand prize winner will receive the Respect the Prime Decepticon Purple Vinyl LP, a Respect the Prime Constructed Cold EP CD, one Transmissions t-shirt of the winner's choosing. And runners up will receive a Respect the Prime Constructed Cold EP CD.
Charles?
Yes?
What color is the record again?
Purple.
Purple.
I'm assuming it's purple. It's still sealed in plastic.
It's a joke. You had to be there.
Okay.
Listen to the toy show.
I'm just saying, if someone gets the Autobot version, it's still sealed. I have opened one that was the Autobot version. So
we also had Empire of Rust episode 8 come out this week on Monday, so definitely check that out. Just go to transmissionspodcast.com/rust, or it should already show up in your podcast feed if you're subscribed to the main feed. All right, let's talk about some comics news. All right, we've got the IDW Collection Phase 2 Volume 11 hardcover. That has Tarn on the cover. That's cool. It's supposed to be released May 26th, 2020. And we'll collect Transformers 46 to 50, More Than Meets the Eye 50 to 55, the short story Silent Night, and the one shot Redemption. So be prepared for that if you're still collecting all the IDW Phase 2 and Phase 1 hardcovers. That's coming soon. The Takara Tomy Generation Select Seacons webcomic, Part 5, that's been translated to English, so if you were curious about that comic, we've got the translation now. This was linked at TFW 2005, and the translation was done by Tets Toys and Shenanigans blog, so you can check that out. We've got the previews for the trade paperbacks for the first trade paperbacks for the new Transformers series. So Transformers Volume 1, The World in Your Eyes. And this is being teased for October release. On Amazon, it says November 2019 to January 2020. So we're not quite sure when this is coming out.
Is the image of Bumblebee's alt mode on the back of this the first time we've seen that?
No, it's been.
I don't remember seeing it.
It's been in the comic. He's been shown in alt mode a couple times. But yeah, this is new art by Chung. I'm not familiar with this artist, but
Chrissy Chung.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, there it is. Chrissy Chung. Sorry. But yeah, so that's cool. And we've also got solicitation for Volume 2, which this is the arc of the comics that we're just starting here, The Change in Their Nature. And this is going to collect... This is another 12-issue volume, it looks like. It's collecting Transformers 13 to 18 and also Galaxies 1 to 6. So that's interesting. So it looks like they're going with larger trade paperbacks now. And that's all the comics news. So let's move on to our comic review. All right, this week we are reviewing Transformers number 13.
Yes. This is written by Brian Ruckley. Art is by Angel Hernandez, pages 8 through 11 and 13 through 18. And Alex Milne, pages 1 through 7, 12, 19 and 20. Colors by Joanna LaFuente and Josh Perez. Letters by Tom B. Long. Editors are David Mariette and Tom Waltz. We have 3 covers. Cover A has Starscream and Sentinel Prime looming large as Prowl and Chromia are bots on the ground hunting for someone. And this is by Transmissions listener and donatrion Winston Chan. So this is awesome. Cover B has a Springer with his back to some shadows of some mysterious bots. And this is by Umi Meow. And retailer incentive cover has Chromia and Prowl searching for some clues, and this is by Blackie Shepard and Josh Bertram. So, Yoshi, let's start with you. Which one of these do you like?
I'm going to go with cover A. I'm going to support our listener here.
There is only one picture or cover to choose here, and it's cover A. It's got a lot of detail. I love the way that Cybertron looks like it's not brand new. It's got some damage to it. It's got some age. rust, if you will.
Some rust.
There's definitely a lot of buildings in the background, some kind of skywalk around the top there. I like Starscream and Sentinel in the back. Starscream is, I think it's probably the Tetrajet that they've been going off of, but you can't really tell. I'm going off of the large kind of shoulder pylons there. Sentinel is obviously the one from Titan's Return, but yeah, I like it a lot. It looks really good. I do want to give props to Umi Meow's Springer. It looks pretty awesome as well.
I have to agree. Winston Chan's picture or cover is the best. Really, I really like both Chromia and Prowl on there, and yeah, Sentinel Prime and Starscream up there in the distance. Looks really cool. It's a really nice image, and I hope this means Winston will get more opportunities in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to agree with all you guys. The other covers are pretty good. Particularly like Daryl mentioned, the Springer on cover B, but you gotta support Winston. I think this looks great, and particularly the Starscream, I think it looked really good. And I like kind of some of the details here on Cybertron. So, onto the story. This is a new arc. It's called The Change in Your Nature. This is part 1. It begins with Jihaxis branding people with the new Acenticon logo in a familiar purple design that Megatron revealed last issue. Bumblebee is the latest recipient, and then he immediately goes after Skytread again, picking a fight. Bumblebee is still upset and convinced that something deeper is going on with the disappearance of Barricade and the subsequent cover-up. Elita 1 breaks it up and orders Bumblebee to follow her. She tries to talk some sense into Bumblebee, but he explains everything he suspects and accuses her of not knowing what's going on within her own forces. In the medical bay at the Autobot HQ, Ratchet is updating Chromia on Windblade's status. She should be okay to wake up within a few cycles, and she'll be okay. Moving on to the murder investigation, Ratchet has reviewed the list of names that Windblade had recovered. There's too many bots that could do the damage that killed Rubble to narrow it down, but Brainstorm's injuries were more unique. Hoist and Flatline are looking into that, and Ratchet promises to provide an update if they found something. Chromia worries that Sentinel Prime's patience is going to run out long before then, though. And across Cybertron, we see security forces hunting down leads, particularly anyone associated with Six Shot or the Rise. Out near in some Energon transmission lines, Springer and Sideswipe respond to a call about a substation alarm going off. Springer changes into his flight mode and hurries off, leaving Sideswipe in the dust. At the substation, Cascade is wondering about a flashing light, but Wirespike and Ruckus say that there's a lot of flashing lights there and not to worry about it. Just as Wirespike makes a connection to steal the Energon there, Springer arrives and lets them know that they really shouldn't be doing that. Ruckus calls for backup, and another bot shows up and immediately rams into Springer, pushing him into an Energon field. While he's getting shocked, they make a quick retreat, and Sideswipe arrives just as Springer wakes up, and they quickly head in pursuit. They find the risers in an emergent Titan. Springer goes up the front, while Sideswipe flanks around back. Inside, the 3 risers have found a railgun. They move it up to the eye, and Ruckus starts firing on Springer, pinning him down. The other 3 decide to leave Ruckus to take the fall if he gets caught, and they try to make an escape through the back when Sideswipe shoots one of them in the shoulder. They return fire, and then with both Autobots pinned down, they all retreat back inside. At the Acenticon HQ, Elita 1 finds Bumblebee trying to hack into records to find Barricade's information. She yells at him again, but he finally convinces her to use her own access to take a look. All the files about Barricade and Quake have been erased by Soundwave, and the date that they were deleted was right when they appeared, or right when the bots disappeared. Soundwave suddenly shows up, asking what's going on, and Elita tells him that Bumblebee just wanted to see what data that they had on him, and she didn't see a problem with it. He then informs the 2 about the incident at the Titan and orders her to take a force there and display the new face of the Ascenticons to the people. At the Autobot Security HQ, Chromia is also gathering forces to go help Sideswipe and Springer when Ratchet catches up to her. He has an update, but didn't want to transmit it. He noticed how many former miners, gladiators, intelligence officers, and military people were on the list, but they found someone that was both a miner and an intelligence. And Hoist remembers that this guy has integrated drills. And then he asks if she knows someone named Frenzy. To be continued. This one actually had a lot of action. I really enjoyed this issue. Things seem to be kind of heating up and falling into place. We also got to see more parts of Cybertron that we hadn't seen before. And we even got to see Springer, and immediately he shows his triple changing abilities. So that was, I was happy to see that wasn't something that we had to wait to see. On the art side, I loved seeing Alex's work on the interiors. With characters like Ratchet, it seems both familiar but also new as the designs are matching the current aesthetic. And in particular, I like his take on Chromia. Her forehead has been something that I've had problems with throughout the series, and it just seemed to stick out oddly. And Alex's design looks more natural and still matching the aesthetic, but the forehead just seems to fit better. So I really like that. Daryl, you have been a huge critic of the series so far for the lack of action. What do you think of this issue?
I liked it. I was very pleased to see Alex's art on this again, or to start on this series, but just to see Alex's art again. I was curious to see what he could do with the way that the characters were going to look in this series, because obviously it's a different take, and was it going to be like More Than Meets the Eye, Lost Light, kind of stuff, and it looks fantastic. I want to point out the first page after the branding page, because that's very kind of there's a lot of detail in that, but the one page after that where you see Jaxus, Bumblebee, there are 10 characters on that screen, on that page, and not including the 4 that are faces that are on the screen behind Jaxus. Alex is fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, possibly 7 behind Jaxus and Bumblebee, just in the background. That's the art that I miss. There's no reason they're there. Why? There's no point for them to be there. They're just there to make Cybertron look like it's populated, and I love that. There's so much detail in this, and a lot of other artists don't put this much care into their pages, and it really fills out the world. The next page, there's so many other bots just walking around, They have nothing to do with the scene, and I really appreciate that kind of stuff. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it shows that the Ascenticons have
they've got ranks. Yeah. They're a formidable force. I really love seeing Alex's work again. I miss it. So, moving on to like the story, I found the story pretty good. It was decent. You have as Nemesis as Nova Sentinel Prime. Yes, I want to get all the primes mixed up. Sentinel Prime, as he would be he's the leader. He would be the guy that would have to kind of just sit there and take it all in. And you see him kind of like, as a progression of 3 panels, you see him just kind of get bored, and he's getting more and more like, I'm done with this. Everyone's just telling me what kind of crap is going on. Right. And it's a great interpretation of what's going on here. Seeing Springer and Sideswipe be like a little team up, I like that pairing a lot. That's a fun pairing. I think back to their G1 kind of personalities, and I love it. And when they're driving along,
especially especially with Sideswipe's comment.
Of course. And then they get the call that there's something going on. Springer transforms into helicopter mode and ducks off, and Sideswipe can't do anything else but, drive along, and he gets all mad at Springer. I love it. I think it's great. The art changing to the most actiony scenes in the book to somebody else was kind of a downer for me. I was like, this book is probably has most action in the entire series so far, and it's not Alex on the action, which is kind of that kind of gave me a big downer. But I did like the action, I did like the story, and it did bring out a lot of what was happening. Yeah, and it filled in some holes that we had seen, because the dialogue when the Rise characters were talking amongst themselves, they kind of gave away kind of a bit about what happened to Brainstorm, but not by name, but so they did give away a little bit there. And so you do see a lot going on with regards to the old plots from previous issues. I do like the tease for the next issue, or whenever it comes up, with regards to Frenzy. That leads back to, something. I don't think Frenzy, if he even appeared in more than Meets the Eye or Lost Light, not that it matters for this, but I don't even know if he even had any kind of drills on his arms for that series, but he did in what was it? All Hail Megatron. You did see pictures of him with drills on his arms. So if they're going with something like that again, I'm all for that. And if it's kind of a similar kind of personality where he's kind of mentally unstable, I like that a lot too. But we haven't seen him yet, so that's kind of cool too. So I honestly, before Ratchet had mentioned Frenzy, I honestly thought that they were kind of leaning towards this one guy that Springer and Sideswipe were fighting against, who's got the drill on his back, right?
Yeah.
So,
and that guy, I don't know what his name was. So
there's Ruckus is one of them, because they kept
Ruckus is the yellow and purple.
So
one.
there's 4 of them there, and only one of them seemed to get a name check. So
Wire Spike is the drill guy, and Cascade is the purple guy.
No. Wire Spike is the big guy.
Oh, okay. Well,
the big yellow guy or the big green guy?
No. The big green guy.
And
who's the blue?
Cascade is the thunder bluish purple one.
Cascade, Wire Spike, Ruckus.
I spent way too much time trying to figure this out.
So I'll forget this in 30 seconds, but that's good that they have names, because I only thought that the one of them had a name.
That Wire Spike is that guy. He pops his drill out. His drill is retracted in the first scene, and then when he comes out to fight Springer.
No, I thought that, but I thought there was only 3 of them, but there's 4. When they call for backup, the guy with the spike pops out of the ground.
Oh, okay, you're right.
I spent way too much time trying to figure this out.
Right, because he comes through the window behind Sideswipe, right?
Yeah. I was wondering if it was Cromar, but
or
it doesn't
behind,
look like the
behind
toy for Cromar.
Springer. He comes through the wall behind him. Yeah. So anyway, there you go. They've got they do all have names. So there you go. That's cool. So a little bit more character and a little bit more world building with that. Personally, I didn't care for the part about Soundwave and his his little security clearance thing. That didn't make any difference to me whatsoever. It was right in the middle of the action, or that's how they ended the action, right? But but I'm curious as to how the next issue goes. I want to see more Alex Milne art, so let's have some more of that.
All right, well, cool.
I really enjoyed it too. I mean, I thought this was very much a departure from the last 2 arcs, so I was very happy with the action in this issue. I echo Daryl's thoughts about the art. I mean, it's pretty jarring to see the difference between Alex Milne's art and Angel Hernandez's art. I mean, lots of people will. I mean, it's my opinion, and I think lots of people will agree that Alex is the better Transformers artist here, and he's definitely my preference for how the Transformers should be drawn in comics. But I mean, just the fact that the styles are so radically different makes it's just a weird juxtaposition here. And yeah, I would have liked to have seen Alex's take on the action scenes in this comic, rather than like if Angel or Angle had done the other scenes and then Alex had gotten to do the action scenes, that might have been I don't know, that would have been the better choice, I think. I don't know. But yeah, everything, this book felt really good. I mean, lots of stuff happens. You had lots of interactions, lots of conflict. I particularly like just how you feel like things are moving in this issue here, and just the little things like the touches that Alex put in his scenes, like the one page with Sentinel Prime where he's getting updates from all the different different bureaucrats. I liked how you see he's gradually getting more and more bored in his seat. He's like, he starts off like, listening intently, then he's slowly slumping down at the end. He just gets super pissed off. And I just like that little bit of personality there added in. I mean, it's just a nice change of pace. I hope this is a sign that things are going to continue to ramp up as the series goes on. I do wish they would. I mean, now that it's monthly instead of twice a month, maybe they can get one artist to be on a whole book at a time. I think that would also help with not having the art be as jarring in between the issue. Like just the way the things are broken up, it's a little bit disconcerting. But yeah, I mean, the story and the action were really nice.
And one thing I noticed with that Sentinel Prime scene, if you look at the chair in that panel right before Soundwave, he's digging his fingers into the chair because he's getting so frustrated. And then when he jumps up in the Soundwave panel, you can still see like Alex left, like the gouges in the chair are there. Little details like that are awesome.
And I like the what Brian Ruckley has been seeding in the story, like how Titans or other giant Transformers kind of like fade into the background of the planet. Like here we have everything's taking place on this Titan that has kind of melded himself into the body of the planet, and as it slowly degraded. I just think it's interesting, like the take on what happens when Transformers get older and older, and how do they just integrate themselves back into the planet, which I think is an interesting idea.
All right, Yoshi, what's your take on the book?
I agree about the art. Alex shines a nice rainbow over this series that I think is giving me and everybody else faith. It's really good compared to what we've been having to look at. I will say this: I haven't been reading the issues unless I'm on an episode to read them with you guys. So I can speak from experience that issue 13 is not a jumping on point. I definitely got the sense that a lot was happening. There was a lot of things that would have helped had I read previous issues. So I did feel lost a lot of the time. I will say this, and this was a laugh out loud moment for me. Page 17, the very last panel, just had me laughing out loud. Sideswipe says, "I told you not to go solo. Told you." And, what's his name? Springer goes, "I'm a total convert to the wisdom of that ideal." It's still making me laugh. I just thought that was a hilarious line. I really liked. I was like, that's gold. I love that. So yeah, I'm not. We're gonna have to talk offline and have somebody bring me up to speed, or I need to re-listen to the last few episodes because I did feel lost a lot of the time.
Or you could read the books. We still have the digital copies.
Yeah. I could, but, we did spend I'm assuming 12 issues being like, this is just what's going on. Why is it so slow? What are we doing here? And this is the first time I've sat with you guys and everybody's like, wow, this is great. And I'm not denying you that. It's just obviously I had to read the previous 12 issues to get the payoff that is coming with 13 here.
Yeah, I mean, this is really where the pacing problems of the earlier books were not really evident here. And
no, I felt that improvement too.
Yeah, I mean, Ruckley is a novelist, and he's been seeding a whole bunch of stuff, so we're starting to get a little bit of payoff. I wish that it was a little bit more even throughout the first 12 issues, but if this is where we're going, I have more faith in the series after reading this issue.
I have hope. Let's hope it happens.
All right. Well, that is the comic review.
All right, and we will move on to Transformers Media News.
All right, in media news this week, we've got a piece of concept art from Bumblebee. I thought this stuff had all come out already, but I guess one slipped past us and we got it now. This is a piece of concept art for Dropkick by Shane Baxley, and it shows Dropkick a little bit different than they appeared in the movie, but it's nice to see possibilities of what they would have looked like. So take a look at that if you're interested. We've also got another one of those songs, those sing-alongs that we talked about before. This is the Into the Fire sing-along video by El Rey. So you can take a look at that. Previously we had seen Rollout and Gigantic. So next up we've got Universal Beijing. Their resort is announcing a Transformers Metro Base attraction. That sounds really cool. So if you're going to be in Beijing, I don't know, if China's got some cool stuff going on right now, maybe you go hang out in China.
A
new goal for the Patreon.
Yeah. But sounds like something it'd be neat to check out once things calm the hell down. There is a YouTube video that you could check out, seeing a first look at Universal Studios Beijing.
I'm wondering if this will make its way around, because as Disney's doing more of the Marvel stuff in their parks, I would imagine, like, this says the roller coaster is a clone of the Incredible Hulk roller coaster at Islands of Adventure. I bet that whole area could easily be changed from the Marvel land to this.
Yeah, I guess so. Sure. And lastly, another episode of Cyberverse has appeared up on YouTube if you are American. So Cyberverse episode number 6 is up, and that is called Dark Birth. This is, again, season 2. So these are coming out really slowly on YouTube. But, again, like we've said before, if you know where to look on the internet, you can find the entirety of season 2. All 18 episodes are already there. And it's not limited to just one country. Out of, 226 in the world? Yeah. It's more than just America. Anyway, that's it for media news.
All right, well, let's move on to some transforming pop culture.
In pop culture, this has been making its rounds, and I think it's the perfect... It would be the perfect soundtrack to this movie. Twitter user John Grosjean remixed a pivotal scene in Avengers Endgame, where and this I'm sure almost every person on the planet has seen the movie. So if you if you weren't aware, this is your quick spoiler warning. You can move on to the next section. We have time codes in the show notes. There. Okay, time's up. He remixed Cap lifting Thor's hammer from the movie with the song The Touch from the Transformers movie. And he lined it up perfectly. The cues and like when the action happens, it's fantastic. And I love seeing it. Chris Evans actually replied to the guys on Twitter saying, I think that, that was all I needed to see. So, what do you guys think when you saw this?
It was, it was cool to see. Like, I saw it before it blew up, but it was cool to see Chris Evans actually retweet it, and of course, Stan Bush retweeted it as well. So it was nice to see it blow up beyond the main Transformers community. And of course, Chris Evans has a few more followers than most Transformers fan sites. So it was, and it gave me a warm fuzzy that Chris Evans might be passingly familiar with Transformers the movie. So that was nice.
Oh, he's in the right age range. Yeah.
So it's fun, a fun bit of trivia.
Yeah. Daryl, as probably one of the bigger Marvel fans on the show, what did you think?
I liked it. I thought it was pretty fun. And yeah, it did. It looked really good. The guy did a really great job syncing it up. Really impressed that Chris Evans replied and retweeted it out. It's just one of those songs. Stan Bush obviously liked it and retweeted it. But yeah, it's just one of those songs that just it can be used in a lot of different places,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's great to know that I eagerly await the Captain America Optimus Prime team up. Where
we've seen that it wasn't good.
Well, the one based on Chris Evans and
yeah,
not the
maybe Marvel and Hasbro can work something out, and in their What If series, their animated series they have coming out, they can do something. That would be better. I want to hear Chris Evans and hear Peter Cullen in the same show.
Was Cap even in that crossover back in the day? I don't. He might not have been on the team at that time, does he? I don't know.
He was there,
I don't
I
remember.
thought. Yeah, I thought
okay.
so. What was New Avengers?
I remember
It was-
Ms. Marvel and Iron Man and Wolverine.
Iron Man,
Maybe it
Luke
was the New
Cage.
Avengers again.
Spidey.
Yeah, it might have been New Avengers and Transformers.
I don't know. Let's not talk about that anymore.
All right, let's finish up the show with convention news.
All right. Sticking with the 86 movie, Vince DiCola is going to be at TFCon DC. Another guest that I would love to meet, and I'm not going to the convention. He did music for a movie you might be aware of. It's one of the Rocky movies. I think Rocky IV.
Mm-hmm.
He's done other stuff. Angry Birds Transformers, he did the soundtrack for that. and he also did the animated Transformers movie soundtrack. He has said on Twitter he's not doing a concert. This is strictly like panels and signings and stuff. But he also is going to have some things to sell. I think he has some vinyl copies of his score for the 86 movie and some other things. So, check him out. And, that's really awesome. And I hate that another convention I'm missing him at. We mentioned this in the toy show, but at the MCM Comic-Con London 2019, October 26th, Hasbro is going to be there. They're going to be talking about it's the 35th anniversary of the franchise. Outside of the toys, I'm not sure what they're going to talk about, but I would be surprised if they didn't mention the Cyberverse show. I would hope to hear something about the Netflix show, but I don't know if that's the the venue that they would start talking about it. Probably more San Diego. But check it out, and I haven't heard about any other people there. Usually there's some, UK or European Transformers artists that go to these shows. So maybe we'll have more updates next week as the show is about to start. But that is it for convention news. Oh, I guess I can give a quick update on my New York Comic Con experience for the media side. I got to go to the IDW panel at New York Comic Con, and it was pretty cool, but they really didn't have enough time to spend a lot of time on each franchise, especially ones that didn't have representation on the table like Transformers. But they did show off news that you guys talked about last week. But then after the panel, I got to spend a few minutes talking with John Barber. And thanks to Ant from TFU.info, he served as my cameraman during the interview. So we're going to be having that up sometime soon. Donatrons are going to get it early. But it's always nice to talk to him. We hadn't talked to Barber since the Unicron Free Comic Book Day thing. And that was before he was announced as the new editor-in-chief. So it was really nice talking to him, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to him again. So outside of that, I got to see a number of Transformers artists. At the IDW booth, I went up while they were doing a big signing with Olivia Ramadelli, Nick Roach, Andrew Griffith, and John Barber. And got to talk with all of them. I didn't get to see Nick at his table, but got to see Andrew, as you saw from Trips to the Store, and I saw Livio. And yeah, it was great. So I'm really dying to hear news on this Netflix show, but still nothing on that. But yeah, New York Comic Con was an incredibly busy convention. They really need more space. But it was a fun trip.
Cool. Yeah, I think the Netflix show was supposed to come out in the spring, so maybe like WonderCon they might announce something. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's definitely before San Diego, I think, next year, so we'll see. I don't know. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm definitely curious about the Netflix show.
Hopefully they release news soon, but Netflix likes to, control everything, like the entire narrative on those things.
All right, well, that's all the convention news, and that'll do it for this episode of Transmissions. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions Podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
Yoshi might have to leave in the middle, so don't be alarmed.
I won't be.